Ward. I am the vice president of Miss Wheelchair America for the national nonprofit. We cover the entire 50 states, including DC and Puerto Rico. And we try to follow up with our title holders, both past and present, to sort of just get them out there, get their platforms heard, and of course, bring a little bit more recognition to the organization. So today we have Miss Wheelchair Ohio 2025. So, would you like to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself without, giving out too much information so we have nothing to talk about?
Yeah, so I'm Alexandra Martinez. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, Miss Wheelchair, Ohio, and I was born with spina bifida. And should I talk about my platform, Dancing Through Disability? I
Yeah,
have
you
my
can do that.
platform,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
definitely.
I've been dancing since I was 3 years old. Yeah, and it literally saved my life, and I want to spread the awareness of the therapeutic benefits of dance for all abilities, really, and people with disabilities. We go through so much, and mentally and physically, and so I feel like we need that artistic outlet, and I that's it, essentially my whole spiel.
Very good. Very good. How do you, as far as the whole dancing thing, how would you encourage someone, your younger self, if tables were turned, how would you, obviously as a child you don't know how you want to be approached,
Yeah.
but now that hindsight is always 2020,
Hmm.
how would you encourage someone of a younger age to become involved in dance or take that first leap, or like where do you go? Okay, say you have a 6-year old that wants to do dance
Yeah.
and they're a wheelchair user, what do you do?
So I mean, obviously, it's really at that young of age, someone's parent to be kind of in charge of that. So, as someone who has been in dance for a while, I would talk to the parent and be like, "This has been my thing for 30, years ish."
Yeah,
I'm turning 30 in December, so I'm like, what?
there
How
you
old am I?
Yes.
But this has been my thing, and I've seen how it's helped me as a young kid, and as a kid growing up with a disability, and how it's helped me come into myself as a person with a disability, and how it's made me love my body essentially. And I want your kid to experience the joy that I've experienced, and so I would give them resources of different dancing companies that help with integrative dance and adaptive dance, and just give them my email also.
Okay,
You
yeah,
know,
that's
like,
always
reach out
important.
to me if you have any questions, and if your kid has any questions, I would love to answer them. And so yeah, that's pretty much what I would do.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So your platform is centered around dancing. What are some things that you did during your reign to raise awareness of adaptive dancing and the impact that it would have on people's lives?
So yeah, I talked to so many people. I had a meeting with my mayor recently to talk about the disability in the arts and the impact that has on our South Euclid residents. And I had did this fun thing where I did ballet in the park with North Point Ballet, and I choreographed a performance for their I don't remember what they're called. It's like they're interns essentially, but it's like not the company, but like the junior company of North Point Ballet. And
Okay,
I choreographed and I performed it with them. And I had like my board that I had for Miss Wheelchair America, and I told them about Miss Wheelchair Ohio and everything about my platform. And that
very
was
cool.
like the highlight of my
Very cool.
my
Very
reign.
cool.
Was That was pretty fun.
That is so cool. So how did
Yeah.
you actually get involved with Miss Wheelchair Ohio?
So, that is a good question. I remember Krista. She was Miss Wheelchair Ohio 2021, I believe. 2020,
Somewhere in there. Yeah, I was gonna
2022,
say
something like that.
2023. So yeah, early 2020s.
Yeah, and it was during her reign, and we met at a ADA rally, and she was like, "You should do this," and I was like, "Oh, sure, why not?" Cut to
Right.
like 3 years later, where I saw a Facebook post of Miss Wheelchair Ohio being like, "We're looking for applicants," and I was like, "Krista said I should do that,"
That is cool. That is
and then
cool.
I
Well,
finally.
I'm glad that it came back at like the right point of your life where you're like, hey, I've heard about it a couple years ago, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe, maybe not.
at that point I was like, I don't know. I feel like I don't even know what I was doing in 2022/3. I was just like,
Right.
it wasn't in my radar to be a queen
A
or to
queen.
be an
R-
advocate in that
Right.
way.
Right.
So it finally hit me in 2025 where I was like, oh yeah, I should finally take this
You-
chance and do that.
Yep, do it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm very glad that you did. You had an amazing reign. You did great at nationals.
Thank
You
you.
were. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the award that you were? I'll say given.
Yeah,
The
so
award you were given.
I was given the Spotlight Award, and it's given to, oh, I'm not going to remember the exact verbiage, but like the contestant who shows the most joy and like happiness through their advocacy work, and just like kind of radiates joy, and that is also like my
So,
whole thing.
so I can actually provide it. I
Oh,
can provide it
perfect,
to you.
perfect.
I did not have this planned. So the Spotlight Award is chosen by the judges. It is someone who captivates people with an earnest joy, and the recipient attracts others through her candor and passion, changing minds and challenge stereotypes.
Yes.
And it was
Yeah,
awarded
so
to Miss Wheelchair Ohio herself.
so yes, that is like kind of my whole thing. I even said to the judges, all I want to do is spread joy as an advocate, because a lot of people look at people with disabilities and they see like depressing, like they think we don't maybe have lives. They look at us and are like, this is like
Right,
sad. So I want to change that narrative and be like, no, we are joyful beings. We
right.
are happy in our disability, in our disabled lives, and we have, happy lives. So joy is like
And
my
there's
whole thing.
always a time and a place. During your advocacy journey, there's always a time where, okay, there may be a little bit of negativity or
Of
things that
course.
aren't as enjoyable, but overall,
Hmm.
bringing advocacy to people's lives and making a difference.
Yeah.
Um, I think one of the things that people don't realize is you can have a relationship with somebody. I learned this like during my whole college thing, being a communications major, is like you have a relationship with someone even if you're in the elevator with someone.
Hmm. Hmm.
So having a relationship with people that you come in contact throughout the community, preferably more positive than negative, but
Yeah.
people remember that, and people remember you, and people remember, what message you had to share, and you never
Exactly.
know when that comes back,
Yeah,
you
exactly. And
know?
so I always want to, in that 1 minute, 1 second, interaction, to be
Y-
like, I'm happy.
That's awesome.
I
But
am
be honest,
joyful.
do you ever have sad days?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But the good
100%.
days, but the good days outnumber the sad.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
I mean, personally, I have had very bad depression, and that is what like kick-started my dancing through disability. I literally, I don't know where I would be without dance. Like
Right, right.
not to get too morbid, but I was,
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
was I was in the unaliving element of
Oh,
my
yeah,
life.
yeah.
So I and that thinking about my next dance class and moving my body and getting out there, and it really helped me get into a better place in my life. And I still have those days where I look at my disabled body and I'm like, ah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I try to have a very positive mindset, or to switch my perspective at least
Right,
to
right,
neutral and not
right,
like doom and gloom,
right.
because that really gets
Oh,
me
yeah.
in, you know.
And it can really knock you down, even, like, I've come across some ladies, over the past couple months, and it's like, "Oh, well, I'm not beautiful enough for, I'm not
I
good
saw
enough
that
for Miss
too.
Wheelchair America," and it's like,
Yeah.
but it's not about beauty,
Yeah.
yes, we are all beautiful, and especially and I feel like I don't know if cliche is the right word, but everybody's like, "Oh yeah, oh you're all beautiful, but it's on the inside. That's what matters." And it's like, no, 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 no. But seriously, once you get involved with Miss Wheelchair America, you realize, and you're gonna end up saying the same things, and it's like,
Hmm.
wow, now I get it. So it's
Yeah.
like it's yes, we're all beautiful. Yes, we all have powerful messages. Yes, we all deserve to be heard.
Hmm.
But how do you tell somebody that doesn't know about, Miss Wheelchair organizations, do it. Do
Yeah.
it. Take the plunge. Become involved with your state program.
Yeah.
But it's so helpful to so many people
Mhm.
that being involved with people that are just like yourself in one way or another is very rewarding,
It
and
is.
it
It's
can
so
be
wonderful.
encouraging, and
Yeah.
especially when people think that one of the things I always talk about is when I was at nationals back in 2018.
Mhm.
Okay, yes, I came into this community calling it handicap parking, and I was quickly corrected that it is not handicap parking. So I learned that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
okay, it's accessible parking. So I go to
Mhm.
nationals and I compete for Miss Wheelchair America 2019,
Mhm.
and I forget where I was going with this. Oh, so being at nationals, squirrel, you're
Me too.
able to compare stories. Obviously you do it
Yeah.
online beforehand, but talking face to face with someone about, oh, accessible parking in my state is horrible, and
Mhm.
it's really great, there's like 50 spots for every 5 regular spots, and it's like, wow. But
Mhm.
then I'm pretty sure it was Rhode Island doesn't have accessible parking spots, period,
At all?
at all, supposedly. I mean, at least in 2018, I'm like, wow,
Huh.
I know where I'm not going.
Yeah, right.
So
It's a little
So you
interesting.
think so you think that, your message or your state is lacking in certain areas. And it's
Mhm.
like when you compare stories, you're like, maybe
Yeah.
not, you
It's very
know?
beneficial being at Miss Wheelchair America. And also on the subject of like not thinking that you're beautiful enough to be in this competition. Sometimes, I mean, beauty is so subjective. And sometimes you don't think that you are beautiful. And then you do this
Right.
competition and you're like, I'm so beautiful in my message and in my advocacy work. And I'm like hot now because like
Yeah.
I'm like I'm feeling myself because I'm
It's
so
all it's all
confident.
about the crown.
Mhm. Yeah, and I found my confidence and my beauty through through this
Right.
advocacy work and this competition. It's nice.
Now will you be sad when your reign is over?
Oh yeah. I'm definitely
What
gonna cry a few
Yeah.
tears, but I am also gonna be really happy because I'm so excited for the next person to get to do this exciting journey that I've gone on, and I'm so excited to get to know them as. Sorry, the fire alarm is going off in
Fire
my
alarm.
boyfriend's apartment.
So that means that you need to leave. You can
Yeah.
depart. That is fine. That is no
Okay.
problem.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
spending time with us, and let me
Yes,
know
thank
how
you
things
so much.
go. All right,
Bye.
we'll be in touch.
Yes.
All right, bye. All right, guys. So that was an interview with Miss Wilshire, Ohio, Alexandra. And momentarily, we will be bringing Miss Wilshire, Maryland to you. So hold on one second. All right. All right. So I will, while we wait for Carla to join us, let's say one more thing. So again, so for those of you just tuning in, I am Kathy Ford. I'm the vice president of Miss Wheelchair America. We are a nationwide nonprofit that has been around since 1972. A lot of people have never heard of us. We are like the best kept secret, I guess, but we don't want to be a secret. And we enjoy advocating. We have nearly 1,200 title holders that have represented our organization. Nationwide. And it's been great. I am let's see here. I was an independent delegate back in 2018, and what does that mean? It means that New Jersey was a vacant state, so I represented New Jersey on the national level, and then when I returned from nationals, I became the state coordinator. So up until current date, I am still the state coordinator for Miss Wilshire, New Jersey, and I am also the nationwide vice president. So call me crazy, but I really enjoy it. I hold a full time a full-time job. I have a very stressful job, but also I enjoy it. So it's a very nice balance to be involved with two nonprofits and a really crazy job. But I appreciate everyone hanging out with us today. Again, we just interviewed Ohio. Next, we're going to do Maryland. And if anybody has questions, please be polite in the chat. Otherwise, you will be removed. You will be put on timeout. I will not say hello to anyone that's inappropriate. Why don't my teeth move? So I'm gonna really hope that you mean this in the best way. So my disability, you have your typical disabilities. You have cerebral palsy. You have spina bifida. You have the ones that people have heard of. But I have a disease called fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, which basically means I'm a frozen statue from head to toe. If you ever watched Grey's Anatomy, there's a dollhouse episode where there's a lady that is in the hospital and she liked to build dollhouses. And upon her diagnosis of having fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, she was told that she would never be able to build the dollhouse. She ended up passing away in the episode. She did not actually have my disease. She was just portrayed as having it. No, not at all. That's fine. So I'm frozen. Basically anything that's on your body that's supposed to move, mine doesn't. So my jaw does not move. My arms do not move. I cannot do the chicken dance. That's how I tell people. So I'm not really fun at parties when it comes to the chicken dance. But you make the best of it, and I don't mind it. I've met some really cool people. It's all about your outlook, and must come in handy in an elevator. Must come in handy in an elevator. Well, I'm a wheelchair user, so elevators are very handy. But I think I'm confused. But yeah, so it is what it is. I met really cool people. I have a really awesome life. I have 20 animals. I met my husband off the internet, and you know, it is what it is. But I'm here to bring these title holders to you, and have you guys learning more about them and their platform. Again, we have state programs throughout America, and we are in our recruitment phase. So if you're watching this and you would like to apply, um, I don't need to dance to be cool in parties. Nice. No, that definitely doesn't. Yeah, I will agree, but that's for another episode. But yeah, so across America, we have a website. It is misswheelchairamerica.org. We are very active on all social media platforms. If you want to apply to be a Miss Wheelchair representative, so you must be a female, you must use a wheelchair for a majority of your time in public. It's very awkward to represent an organization and not, well, it's weird to be Miss Wheelchair America and not use a wheelchair. So kind of really important. You must want to advocate for yourself and for others. Um, yeah, but hide and go seek, I would have to be quiet, and that usually doesn't work out well for me. So that's my drawback with that. But yeah, you want to advocate for yourself and for others, typically on a platform that affects people with disabilities, and you travel your state and you bring awareness to it. So at this time, I will be adding Miss Wheelchair Maryland to the discussion. Hey, Carla.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you? So we just finished up, or I just finished up actually, with Alex from Ohio, but she had to go because the fire alarm was going off in her building, and she was looking at me like, "Do I go?" And I'm like, "See you later. You need to go."
Right.
So she had to jump out a couple minutes earlier, so that's why I reached out and said, "Hey, if you're ready." Um,
I
but
am
what
ready.
we're gonna do is I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, and then I'll just ask you a few questions about your reign, what it's like to be Miss Wheelchair Maryland, how you got involved with Miss Wheelchair Maryland, and what was your experience like at nationals. So pretty simple, nothing crazy. I will keep a watch on the chat. Usually they're pretty good comments, but sometimes you get some off the wall ones. So if anything does come up in the chat, I will make sure to bring us up to speed on that as well. So
Okay.
if you'd like to just introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and then we'll go and what your platform is, your platform topic.
Of course. Ready?
Go for it.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Carla Cobbs. I am Miss Wheelchair Maryland 2025. And I am from Baltimore, Maryland originally and live in Glen Burnie, Maryland currently. And my platform is inclusive education outside of the classroom. No Mind Left Behind. And the platform really came about because there's just so much, I'd say, education that needs to happen about this community and also in our communities, things, but this education that needs to happen per se or lessons to be learned are outside of a classroom. Like people that wheelchair users can drive. Women in wheelchairs, can get married, can be a partner, can have children, can be intimate, can do all these things, can go to school, can
Wow, so you
be,
definitely had your hands full.
be every woman. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And I think that's really important because a lot of people sort of put us into what they feel is what we're capable of, and a lot of the time, especially now being involved with Miss Wheelchair America, people are very wrong. There are many women that use wheelchairs that are fierce and are great advocates for not only themselves but for others. And it's just, I think it's so impressive that as a community of fierce women, we're trying to change that and we're trying to make it just that much better. And it's hard. We've been around now for over 50 years and there's still a lot more change to go, but I think we're doing a good job. I think we're doing good. I think we're doing good. So, what kind
We
of things did you do during your reign to bring awareness to your platform?
So I participated in a lot of fairs, resource fairs, because I know
Okay.
that is it's a number one, willing to have Miss Wheelchair Maryland, and b that there is a lot of resources that we need in our communities and outside of our communities. And for example, the topic of driving. Lots of people are interested but have no idea where to start. I mean, that's just like one example, but
Yeah, the
you know,
the
what
driving
are the
process is
agencies?
it's very overwhelming.
It is, driving process is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Work is a huge issue, but I will say Maryland, big up to Maryland, has a really good state program, really supportive governor, even has a Department of Disability. So, we're unique in that aspect, but still, trying to promote resources that of employers that are hiring. So that's something I did, and am still doing.
Okay. Okay. What?
Yeah, meeting with politicians and meeting with local business owners, because that's a whole other topic
Oh
of
yeah.
conversation about private businesses and the education that needs to happen on that level. So still
Yeah.
working on that, but just really, trying to get the name, the title Miss Wheelchair Maryland, to get it out there in Maryland.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's that was a part of my
Be-
platform too,
because
to
it's
deal with.
crazy. It's even though we've been around as a national organization for so long, there's so many people that don't know about us, and it's like how. But I can also say that when I got involved, I didn't hear about it before. And I'm like, but I've been disabled. I'll say all my life, but I was misdiagnosed at birth. But I'm like, how have I not heard anything? How have none of my friends? I was really big into social media back then too. So I'm like, how have I never seen any posts or anything? So it's great that, we all now have this platform. And not only do we have our platform topics that we advocate on and we try and push for, but even just spreading awareness for our individual state programs, the national program, there are resources. And yes, you may have to wear a crown and a sash to get your message heard. It may just have to be that way. But you know what? For a year, you push your message out there and you make those connections with people, and those are connections that you have forever. So how about you tell us a little bit about nationals and what your experience at nationals was and what you sort of thought going into it, and did your expectations match what happened?
Um, wow, you asked a lot.
Okay, so here, I'll break it down. So when you went to nationals, was the expectations leading up to it, did they match what you got when you got there?
I tried not to have any expectations. I mean, of course, everyone wants to win. However, it's like, we're all winners, not only as a title holder of your state, but we're all winners in the fact that we made it there, and, eh, and what we've gained. Like,
Right.
I know there's this theory or saying that goes around, like, you come with a platform, you leave with X number of platforms of all your fellow wheel sisters,
Oh
and that
yeah.
is very true.
Oh yeah. Because you left,
So
you went in with one and left with 17 more.
exactly, exactly, exactly. Learning about what's going on throughout the country, and this
Oh
is
yeah.
this is very true. And mind you, there are 50 states.
Hmm.
Trying to also keep in touch with the rest of the states, if you will.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's very
but my
hard to
expectations.
go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
expectations, yeah, definitely, I met some wonderful women, amazing women, heard a lot of stories, were inspired, so
Right.
inspired by my fellow Wheel sisters and the leadership of the uh, NWA, the board.
Right.
Uh, there was a lot of transparency in terms of, the people that, let's say, amongst the board freely admitted that they didn't win their year, but look where they
Yeah.
are now. And that is so true. And meeting
I
Miss Wheelchair America 2025, Tam, she was so supportive
yeah. Tam was
and lovely.
awesome. Tam was
Yeah,
definitely
yes.
awesome. We've had a lot of great national title holders. Like I can say that I'm pretty proud. Um, yes, we go into nationals and we want to win, and it's we make life adjustments. So when we come home, we've got a lot of free time because well, we didn't bring home the national crown. Darn. Um, I didn't do that. I promise. Um, I had time off from work. I'm like, I'm gonna make sure I had vacation time, everything. I came home with nothing. But yeah, all the board members, none of us were national title holders. But my year, Karen from Louisiana won. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
I was so upset that I lost. But then following her reign and like watching what she did and where she went, and I'm like, you know what? I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have done that. So it's crazy how you go into it thinking, oh, no problem. I can go across America. No problem. I can go skiing in South Dakota. No problem. Adaptive skiing, sign me up. And I think it was Tam. She posted pictures online of her like all bundled up. And then when she came back, she's like, that wasn't for me. That wasn't for me. It was cold. And I'm like, yeah, see, it's stuff like that. I don't know. But the national title holders that we've had, that I can remember at least, have been amazing, and they've each done um more than I would imagine. And then Latavia now is being amazing. I really like her one video she posted. I forget the name of the product, so this is a really bad plug, but it's like a ring that you can put on your finger and you can turn it on and off your lights. And she was showing like how
yeah,
you could do that. I was like,
right.
that's actually pretty cool.
Because
So,
the sponsor, what I guess I would call sponsors and the other businesses for this community. Again, that's another resource that, like, we need this stuff. So
yeah,
she and I briefly spoke about that product too. So
yeah,
I'm glad she made a video about it. And
yeah,
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 the power of a video, the power of where we are in this day and age is so important.
definitely.
To show what is possible.
Yeah,
And we were joking, I think at nationals, like, so many products that are on the market now that are inclusive or accessible, if you will, were
mhm,
really made for more convenience of those, let's say, wealthier people or whatever. But it's so
right,
amazing that,
right.
that you can use them and it can be helpful for this community.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But
for instance,
even, the
go ahead.
inclusive products that you don't, that aren't necessarily labeled as inclusive, um, I've been
Mhm.
Ever
Exactly.
since that I've been permanently like if once I'm in my chair, I can't get out of my chair independently at all. How do you turn on a light in your
That's
house? And
fun.
I would demonstrate here, but this room actually doesn't work with the product. But the robot, Alexa, I can't say her name because I'll wake her up. But I can turn on and off lights in my house. I can do my thermostat in my house. What else can I do? I can turn on and off my purifiers by my voice. Anything that's set up with the Amazon app, I can control. And I'm like, that's amazing. And to bring awareness, and I actually just educated um a previous title holder on how to use lights because her and her husband are both wheelchair users and they both struggle on when you get in bed, who's turning off the light? And I'm like, it sounds like you need an Alexa and say, turn off bedroom, and the lights go off. And she's like, I never heard of that. I'm like, how have you never heard of that? So it's amazing where it's a product that you think everyone knows about because it's just the common product. And, it's like, yeah, it definitely works. The only downside is all of your light switches are in the on position. So that way you can voice command them to do what you need them to do. So when you're sleeping and the power goes out, all your lights come back in the on position. So it may be 3 o'clock in the morning when you're trying to get some shut eye and the power
Um,
flickers. All of your lights that are in the on position come on when the power is restored. So, um, real quick in the chat, we had a Go Maryland comment.
I'm keeping my eyes on the chat.
Yeah,
But
I
sometimes
I
I'm like,
I've got to say, it's a 50-50 chat, I must say. It's amazing how you can go on different social media platforms. TikTok, TikTok is horrible. If you want to go and uh be subjected to very inappropriate comments, TikTok is your place. YouTube is usually pretty good. Um, some do kind of catch you off guard, and you're like, "Oh, this is so great," and then you read a comment, and you're like, "I'm not going to finish that one out loud. Thank you." But we've been really doing great on YouTube. When I started, we had about 500 followers or subscribers on YouTube, and now we're over 1,800. So
wow.
yeah, so one of the goals with doing these types of videos is, to get you guys out there and have people be aware of who you are. So, I know that Tam was doing some stuff with doing the interview thing and whatnot. So I started this and then I'm like, nope, this is her thing, so I'm not gonna step on her toes. So now that her reign is over, I said, you know what? Let me give it a go. See how it goes, whatever. Get some feedback on the process and see if we can't make change on YouTube. But I'm trying to get most of the 2025 ladies in before I really start rolling into 2026 ladies, but it's kind of hard. So I'm overlapping a little bit. So for anyone in the comment section saying nice positive things, we appreciate you.
We love
For those
you.
of you not saying nice things, I got nothing. I've got nothing. I have things that I won't say, because this is a professional channel. Um, but let's see. So when your reign is over, what do you want to do and where do you want to go from here?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I would say I don't know if you know this, but there's going to be a leadership change because the current state coordinator of Maryland decided to let that title go for the time being. So
Yes.
we have to figure out, next steps.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so once my title is over, or definitely before that, because we have to put on a program to crown another lady. Can't wait for that. That should be
Yes.
exciting and great.
That's exciting.
But yeah, so pulling a program together, getting those requirements for the state program,
Yeah.
checking those boxes and figuring out who's going to take over because there are, many people interested. Full
Are you
transparency.
interested?
Full transparency, it will not be Carla, but I will do my
I love
best
it.
at
I love
in
it.
supporting and being supportive and, in some role that's not total, upper leadership,
Right.
but
Right.
definitely being, we've talked about a board, because Maryland has, a former Miss Wheelchair America, Chandra Smith.
Yes.
So, we're partnering with her, working with her, and we're gonna go from there, but, we definitely need a board. We
Yeah.
definitely there's lots
Yeah.
of things we need, so
Well,
getting that together, but
and
I would love to be involved. I mean, I don't even know if I could imagine my life without Miss Wheelchair Maryland at this
oh yeah.
point, just the organization itself,
Right.
getting it out there, constantly talking about it. It'll be in my mouth until probably for a very long time, probably the day I,
Oh,
transition
yep.
to the afterlife, but
Yeah.
yeah, so, getting this program up, seeing how I fit in and developing leadership skills and still really wanting to help the next girl.
Right.
I've tried to make some notes at nationals, um, that will really be helpful.
Yeah.
Not everyone has a different experience from nationals, but there are some things I wish, uh, pretty
You
simple things that
knew.
I wish I would have known
Right.
before before nationals.
Yeah.
Everybody's experience is different, but definitely being supportive and being there for the next title holder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd love a I'm not exactly sure. I was gonna say I'd love a channel myself, but something I do want to plug is, at least for Maryland, on my social media page, Miss Butcher Maryland 2025. I want to highlight events in Maryland. Let's say
Okay.
notable. It's going to be notable November events, because we can't be everywhere. Every title holder,
Right.
like you can't, or you could, but you would really be pushing it. So
Been
I
there,
would
done
love to
that.
highlight. Yeah, don't wanna do it again. So I would
Right.
love to highlight some notable events, at least for November and, for each month.
Right.
Maybe quarterly if I get overwhelmed, but, highlight events and,
Right.
the people, again, with the resources that are available.
Right.
Highlighting these things, where we, how do we talk about it? When do we talk about it? So I really want my page to, reflect that, to like
Right.
let you know, because if every state, but let's say Maryland, you 4 hours and you're still in Maryland,
Y-
depending on where you are. So let's start talking. Let's get together. Let's
Yeah. It's definitely
celebrate
hard.
our
So
journey.
we've been doing the independent delegate program. So we do that every year. But this year we've had like an influx of interest. So what we've been able to do is I'll use Texas as an example. So Texas is a very large state. Um,
I
we
used to
have
live there.
a we have an independent delegate for Texas, as well as two ambassadors. So
Okay.
the three ladies. Now we've never done ambassadors for independent delegate states. Usually it's just independent delegate and that's it. I was an independent delegate for Jersey back in 2018, and I didn't really have any direction, but me and my personality doesn't really need direction, so I didn't have a problem with it, but I know that not everybody's like me. So not only will I be overseeing these independent delegates on states that haven't had programs recently, but now there's ambassadors that are sort of able to help them. So they can sort of grow their sisterhood in their state and feel like they have someone to lean on. Yes, I'm ultimately overseeing them, but oh, hey, do you want to go to a parade? It's an hour from your house. Want to go? Okay, cool. And you can sort of make that connection. So maybe it's not as much as like a shock when you go somewhere alone and you're like, I have to do this alone. Oh no, my best friend's here, and you both kind of do it together. So we're hoping that, well, at least I'm hoping that that is a good idea. There are several states that have several ambassadors, just to help grow that sisterhood and grow the foundation of a hopefully successful program. So, for those of you that are just tuning in and have no idea what you're watching, um, I mean, I think the headline
Hi.
should give it away, but we all say hello. And I am the vice president of Miss Wheelchair America, the national nonprofit. And here we have Carla, who is Miss Wheelchair Maryland 2025.
Hello. Hi. Hi.
And we are talking about her reign, talking about Miss Wheelchair America things, trying to raise awareness for our platforms, and just trying to raise awareness in general of who we are. We are both women in wheelchairs, and Carla knows how to rock the crown. You know how to rock the crown.
We all do.
Yeah. Well, the crown is a little. There's a little strategy to the whole crown thing, so it takes an art. It definitely takes an art. I had to use a headband personally. I
Oh,
used a
really?
headband and a shoelace to keep my crown on my head. I got creative. But you do what you got to do. Well, I'm very glad that you want to remain in contact with Miss Wheelchair Maryland program. I believe that there will be a national title holder in your near future. Um, um, Reintroducing herself to the Miss Wheelchair Maryland program, if you get my drift. I've heard some rumors that she will be joining you and she will possibly be in charge of the organization. We shall see. But very excited for that because I think she is an awesome person. And just hearing her story and even just reading it like on the Miss Wheelchair America website, I'm just like, wow. But I've been on a couple Zooms with her back when she was the national title holder, and she is just something to be very proud of if she's in charge of Maryland's future. We'll say that.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
so think before you speak. Well, thank you. You should think before you comment. So thank you. As someone with a disability, I appreciate you joining us. I appreciate positive outlook and open mindset. Um, but it is what it is. I am who I am. Before you actually joined, somebody asked why my teeth don't move. And I was like, well, as a disabled person, my
Move.
my disability, I'm a frozen statue. I'm literally frozen head to toe. I'm a mannequin that you see in Target or Kohl's. I'm literally frozen. Um and my jaw
They
included.
do have some very, very few, but they do have some mannequins that are seated.
Yes,
I've definitely,
yes. Which
but
is
they're not
very
everywhere.
which is very cool. I love watching the videos online of the young girl who actually rolls up to I don't know if it's the mannequin or it's a picture of her in a Target. I'm like, how cool would it be to like go in a store and see yourself or like a
Amazing.
billboard? Like
Weird.
I would
Weird.
take it for a day. Just put my picture up for a day. I'd be happy. So at this point, let's end it because apparently the comments are not off the hook. So I will thank you for your time.
Thank
And I
you.
look forward to keeping in touch with your page and seeing if you can keep up with the events and things like that. But I greatly
No pressure.
appreciate you willing to keep your page going. Because again, when people search online for different organizations, do you want to join an organization where somebody hasn't posted in 3 years? That seems fishy to me. So I'm a big social media person. Keep your page updated to the best of your ability. Of course, we have,
It
it is what
may
it is.
it may merge into a Miss Wheelchair Maryland, like not year. We still have to figure a lot of things out.
Yeah, yeah, which is okay. Which if you guys need any help, the national board is more than willing to lend a hand or lend a suggestion. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
the board is so great, and you know,
thank you, thank you.
we I guess we can talk in the future. I love a board,
Yeah,
so
definitely, definitely. Anything we can
if you
do,
get
we
my
are
drift.
definitely willing to help. It's just very hard getting all of our schedules together, but definitely reach out to us. We can definitely support Maryland for whatever they need. So I thank you for your
Yeah,
time,
thank you. It was a
and
pleasure.
I look forward to the future and keep advocating.
Always. Thank
All
you.
right. Have a great night, Carla. Thank you
Good
again.
night. Night, night.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Bye.